Join me again today for the year's first GenCon related video. Welcome back, those of you who've been here before. Welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. This is going to be our first GenCon video of the year. Unfortunately, we had some scheduling conflicts, so you're going to have to put up with it just being me in this one. But the information is kind of timely, so I wanted to get it out there because I've had a few folks, really appreciated the information we shared last year and wanted to get this out in a timely manner. So before I get to the important dates part, I do want to mention that at least as of right now, the current plan that GenCon has put forth is they are not going to be requiring proof of vaccination, and they're also not going to be requiring masks this year. Now, last year, they said early on that that was likely what was going to happen, and their plans never changed. So while it is possible that the plans could change this year, and they have said as much, they've said they reserve the right to change them right up to the moment of the show, I would say those plans are probably not going to change. That's my take on it. Don't bet the farm on that, but I would be surprised if they did change. But obviously they have to leave wiggle room in case a new really terrible variant pops up or something, or if there's just a massive outbreak centered in Marion County, because they're going to try to follow the county guidelines as well as the CDC. At least that's what they're saying. So I just want to get that out of the way quickly, in case any of you are on the fence one way or the other on that. So, but anyway, the important news, the timely part, is that the badges are going to go on sale January 27th, I believe. Let me just double check that. Sorry, January 29th. They're going to go on sale, and that'll be at noon. Now, unless you're going to engage in the second part of what I'm about to talk to, this is my advice part right here. There's no reason to rush to get your badge, okay? It only really affects the housing portal at this phase, which I'm about to describe here in a moment. So unless you're going to go into that, you don't have to get your badge right now. Now you can, obviously, just to get it out of the way, or if you're one of those people that's not so great at planning with your money, and you want to just go ahead and get the expense over and taken care of, so that you're not having to hold on to that money, plus all your other money for the convention itself, or you just want to get it out of the way, just be done with it, so you're not worrying about it, or for whatever other reason, January 29th, when they go on sale. Personally, I usually wait, but that's just me. I've had cause to get them early a few times, and I did, and that's again because, as I mentioned in some of our videos last year, I unfortunately am not the greatest at planning my expenditures out occasionally, and so, that happens. So, the reason, though, that you would want to go ahead and get your badge is because it will allow you to have access to the housing portal, which opens on February 12th at noon. And so, and I believe both those dates are Sundays, which is another reason why I'm not typically involved, because I work on Sunday, and What I'm about to say is very, very critical. If you're going to engage in the housing portal, you need to be Johnny on the spot. Or at least that's the way it worked back in the gambling days. You still gamble, but now you're assigned a time to log in, and then you have an allotted amount of time to look through your choices and make a choice, if you're going to make a choice at that point. Now, I don't want to disparage anyone, but if you're not like the first hour or two, you're probably not getting a connected room downtown. At which point, you might actually be able to find a better deal, depending on how far you're willing to drive, just getting a room somewhere. Because I've gotten a room twice. Once is because my girlfriend and I went, and wanted privacy. But I didn't know she was going to be going till late in the planning, so we could not get a room through the housing portal. I'm going to mention something else about that here in just a second. But we just got a room in Plainfield. Now, for those of you who are from out of town and don't understand the geography of everything, Indianapolis, there's the core of the city, and it's surrounded by Interstate 465. And once you go a little bit beyond that, you leave the county. Well, it's one of those municipalities where the county and the city are one. If it's part of the city, it's part of the county. If it's part of the county, it's part of the city. So the moment you leave either one, you're in another city, technically. Well, the airport is on the southwest-ish side of that, outside of the 465 loop. Just beyond that, like a matter of like 2-3 miles, maybe 5 miles, but I think it's 2 or 3, is Plainfield. There are all kinds of hotels in Plainfield because they service travelers from the airport. So, those are options, because from there, you just get on Interstate 70, which is right there, because you need to be able to go from the hotel quickly to the airport. The airport's along Interstate 70. Excuse me. But instead, you will go past the airport and just go to downtown. And, obviously you'll use Google Maps or something to get you there, but that is essentially your route. And in my experience, barring heavy traffic, you're looking at 10-15 minutes on the road. Okay? Now, a major downside to that is trying to find a parking spot once you're downtown. So if you leave early enough, that's not a huge problem. And typically, Thursday and Friday, some of the garages are harder to get into because you're fighting against people that actually work downtown. It's a little bit easier on the weekends, in my experience, because you're not dealing with those crowds. And you're getting there way earlier than any other crowd is going to be there. Like some years there's been a Colts game. I don't think that's going to be an issue going forward, because they have a deal where they use parts of the stadium, and obviously they can't do that if the Colts are playing. Could be a baseball game, however. I don't know the name of the team in Indianapolis. If Brad were here, I'm sure he could tell me, but if he tells me before I post this, I'll put it in the comments. Anyway, so that's what you're looking at there if you stay in Plainfield. And like I said, there's a number of nice hotels there. Greenwood is a similar drive. It's 15-ish minutes. There's several nice hotels there as well. And these hotels should be far cheaper than the ones downtown. Then, of course, there's always the Airbnb option, something we have talked about exploring this year. We'll have to see how it goes. I usually stay with a friend who lives in Greenwood. But because of our videos here on the channel, we want to be closer so I can start editing right away and hopefully get videos up during the convention. At least that's the plan. So the less we have to drive, the less time, the greater chance I'm not going to be too tired to deal with anything. and we'll see how that shakes out. Because being farther away, we have to leave notably earlier to make it downtown to get a parking spot. You know, it's kind of like a chain reaction of things there. Whereas if you're staying in a hotel downtown, even if the hotel's not connected, like Chad last year stayed downtown along with Julius, who you might have seen our interview with. If not, it'll be linked up here somewhere. Then they were just a few blocks from the convention center, so they just walked back and forth. And but the ideal scenario is a hotel connected to the convention center, because then you can do the whole thing without ever having to go outside. You just have to walk across the convention center and through a people tube, and then you're in your hotel, you know, or maybe, you know, one hotel over or something. That also makes it nice if you've got, like, if you're buying a bunch of stuff, to take it back to your room so you don't have to haul it around everywhere. That's why I like parking in a certain parking garage, because then my car is relatively close and it acts as kind of like a home base and a dumping ground to make occasional trips to dump stuff off. So anyway, if you're going to try to enter the lottery for a hotel room, again, you need to have your badge before February 12th. It's not here in the statement, but I believe what I saw was February 10th is actually the cutoff. And then they engage the lottery mechanism to figure out who gets where. If you're going as a group, what everyone typically does, as near as I can tell in the forums, is everyone in the group make sure that they buy their pass, and then each of you gets a time, and hopefully one of you gets a good one and gets downtown. So anyway, if that's your plan, I wish you the best of luck. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Speaking of which, if you enjoy what you're hearing, comment down in the comments, you know, like, subscribe, share it around, all that fun stuff. But, you know, do all the fun stuff, because we do try to respond to the comments as much as possible. Then, some other things to note. At this point, that's the main thing that's going on. It's going to be probably a couple months before the next kind of big step, and that'll have to do with the event catalog, and that's a good ways off. I want to say that usually comes out in June. Yeah, I want to say that comes out in June, and much closer to the show, in other words. So there's that. There's the cutoff date for ordering your badge if you want it shipped to you in the mail, which is what I recommend. If you're overseas, maybe not, because who knows what could happen in the mail between here and there. The odds of things being lost increase dramatically once they leave the country. So if you're coming from overseas, you might want to get your badge at will call. But that's just a wild speculation on my part. So, but in general, I recommend having it shipped to you so you don't have to deal with the line at will call. If for some reason you're going to engage with the line at will call, then I suggest, if it's at all possible, that you go down Wednesday night and get it, because the show starts on a Thursday. You don't want to be standing around in line Thursday morning while the show is going on, wasting time. So if it's at all possible for you to get to Indianapolis Wednesday night and to get downtown, I would do so. Let's see, that's not really going to help anyone this year, but it would appear that they are probably moving forward with their plans to expand the convention center and add, I believe it's 2 more hotels downtown, by expanding over to the Pan Am Plaza, which is right across the street, along Georgia Street from the convention center. And there's going to be a large, from the drawing from the Indianapolis Star, there's supposed to be a large extension of the convention center, an above street walkway, and then 2 hotels. that are each going to add several hundred rooms. So, you know, that'll be nice. You know, more convention center space, more hotel rooms that are connected. The hotels themselves will probably also have events in them like several of the hotels do now. So overall, it'll allow the convention to expand a little bit, which is always good. Because that's one of the #1 complaints, is that it's just not big enough. I don't know how much bigger everyone expects it to be, but apparently it's not big enough. And that always leads to the annual, well, when are they going to move it to another city? Which always gets the response of, they can't, because Indianapolis checks all of the boxes. What are you going to do? And it's always the same cities people want to move it to. But we're not going to go into that right now. So, those are the key dates to remember. The 27th, which should be very shortly. And then the 12th. But again, I'm going to look this up and put it down in the comments so I can tell you for sure. But I believe it's actually the 10th that you need to have this, need to actually have your badge purchased to be in the lottery on the 12th. Actually, I'm going to put this in the description, not in the comments, because I can control the description before I post, but I'm not on the computer whenever the videos post most of the time, so I can't jump on there and put it in the comments immediately. And so I look like I'm lying to some people when I say, I'm going to put it in the comments, and they watch it when the video first comes out, and, well, it's not there. So I'm going to start putting things like that in the video description, because that I do before the video posts. So this is all part of the trial and error process of learning the ins and outs of YouTube. So there's that. Also, someone on the forum, on the one of our questions, a comment on one of our videos, someone was asking about potentially doing some kind of a meetup at GenCon. I'm personally not opposed to it. I've got to see what the other two think. I had to kind of move this video along to get it out, so just sort of get out before the tickets go on sale. So I have to see what they think. There could be some concern that I'm totally overlooking, but I mean, we'll have to see what our respective schedules are, because the three of us go different ways occasionally, and there just might not be a time that everything syncs up. But there could be, and if there is, I mean, I know one person that's potentially interested. So, you know, if you'd be interested, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you'd like to do, you know, because I don't know how much time we'll have. If it's literally just to say hi and maybe wind up in a video or something, you know, or if it's a sit down and talk about something, you know, just, I don't know. I've never even contemplated something like that up to this point. So, you know, just let us know in the comments if you would want to do that and what you'd want to do. And once I talk to the other two, we'll try to get some kind of answer. I'll probably address it in the comments, because like I said, it's going to be a few months before there's more to talk about as far as Gen Con. Now, I'm sure some of you out there are possibly asking yourself, what if they sell out? Now, first and foremost, to the best of my knowledge, since it's moved to Indianapolis, which is, I believe, 20 years ago, 2003, I believe, it is only, I believe it's sold out twice. It for sure has once, but I believe it was twice. One of those times was the 50th anniversary. That's kind of a big deal, okay? I mean, that was, you know, the anniversary. You know, most of the people there, like, probably thinking to themselves, am I going to be here in another 50 years? They probably look down, see if they're in a shape similar to me, and think, probably not. So, or even if they're, you know, one of the younger, actually pretty thin kids that are in their, you know, late teens, early 20s, you know, they're still going to be in their 70s. You know, late 60s, early 70s, 50 years from now. You know, I'm not going to be wheeling around 90-year-old at the convention. It's probably not going to happen. Not unless we develop physical immortality and find a way to reverse the aging process. But, so the 50th anniversary is a big deal. So that year sold out, and I believe the next year also sold out, which would have been, if I'm remembering correctly, that would have been 2018 and 2019. And then 2020, there was no convention. 21, there was the much smaller convention. Last year was still smaller, but definitely getting back up there. And it remains to be seen if no vax and no mask causes a spike in attendance or a drop in attendance. I mean, if you read the forums, it looks like it's going to be 50-50. But that's a small snapshot of people. I don't know. You know, and even if there's people that don't show up because of that, and people that do show up specifically because of that, you could still have other people who are just like, man, I wanted to go. Now it looks like, you know, things are kind of clearing up. I'm going. And other people are like, oh, I've skipped the last few years because of this. I'm going now. And attendance could really soar. So, the point I'm driving towards here very slowly is that the 2 years that it sold out, it didn't sell out until, I think it was May or June. And there was ample warning that it was going to sell out. Like, they could tell based on sales trends, and we were warned, like, I believe it's at least a month out, that, hey, if all these things continue, we're going to either sell out or come really close to it. So, you know, my point is, they're not going to sell out the day the tickets go on sale. This is not San Diego Comic-Con. They're not going to sell out the day the housing portal opens up. They're not going to be sold out in the middle of March. Like, they might sell out. I mean, if they do, it'll be way closer to the convention, and you'll have plenty of warning. So kind of on that note, even if you're going to wait to buy your ticket, if you have never been, go ahead and go to the GenCon website and make an account. And because once you have an account made, you should get all the update emails from them. And that's how you'll know that, hey, we're selling tickets pretty quickly. You probably want to go ahead and get yours. Okay. So that's what you're going to want to do there. And just as a note on cost, I believe this year the 4-day badge is $135. And then there's a few taxes involved in that too. Some kind of entertainment tax and stuff like that. So, you know, that's what you're getting yourself into there. So that is pretty well everything at the moment to deal with GenCon. We're still debating whether we're going to Origins, which is in June and in Ohio. So don't know just yet, but trying to get a decision quickly, because similar to GenCon, typically like with GenCon, most years if you're going 2 days, you're better off buying a 4-day badge. Just because of costs. So Origins is 5 days, and it looked to me like if we were going 2 days or two and maybe part of another, the 5-day badge was the way to go. Well, their 5-day badges are on sale until I believe February 1st for a reduced rate. So it'd be nice if we'd come to a decision by then. I don't know if we're going to, but we'll see what happens. And we'll let you guys know if there's any other convention news coming up, because a few others have entered the realm of maybe. So, but we'll let you know if we're going to actually make it to those or not. A driving force will be to shoot footage for you fine folks who can't make it yourselves to check it out. So anyway, hopefully you guys found something entertaining and or informative in all this. I'd really appreciate if you would, if you're not already subscribed, to subscribe, hit the like button, share, comments, definitely comment. Let us know if you're going, anything you're looking forward to, your thoughts on the meetup, anything like that. We always look forward to it. But other than that, you guys have a good one out there.